What's up, everyone? It is Saturday, January 4th, 2025, MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. I'm joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. Special Saturday edition of the podcast. A very rare Saturday edition, Marcel. We don't really do it on Saturday. The thing is, like, I have something to do tomorrow, and it was just better for us to do it on a short notice today. So I appreciate Marcel jumping in here, and I appreciate you guys sticking with us. I know some people are probably going to miss it just because we changed the date at the last second. That's on me, but I appreciate Marcel and you guys all joining us. Marcel, what's going on, man?
Yeah, he says he appreciates me. He said if I couldn't do it right now, he wasn't going to do it today or this week. So no, that's just, I'm bullshitting. I'm just kidding. There's no problem, man. I have nothing to do anyway. So yeah, that's all good. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
How are you doing?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Looking forward to talking about the fights with you. First card of 2025. We put 2024 behind us, guys. We're here in the next year now. We've done it, Marcel. We're in the new year. So let's get some comments. We got lazy bed. Let's party. Let's do it, man. I'm not drinking any beer today, though. I'm trying to take a break this January, Marcel. It's dry January, so I'm going to try my best. Got to lose a few stone, as they call it over there, right? Is that what they call it? Pounds or stone? I don't know what they call it there. What do they call it? Kilograms? What do they call weight?
Kilograms.
Kilograms. All right. Joe, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, dude. Sign Collectibles, glad to have you here, man. Welcome to 2025 as well. Thanks, Joe. I hope you did too, man. Feels like I haven't been here since last year. I know, right? Jeez. West Coast, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here, man. Tristan, what's up, man? Yeah, that's why I want to do it too right now, just because I know that people are going to watch the football game. Even though Sign Collectibles, you saw that line, it's like minus 3,000 for Ravens over Browns, which is, I mean, I don't think I've seen a football line that wide before, although I obviously get it. I mean, they're going to win, so I don't know if I've ever seen a line that long, though. Have you signed Collectibles? That's pretty crazy. Beard, what's up, man? I'm watching football. Catch up later. Okay, cool. He's talking about the other type of football. I think he's talking about soccer, Marcel.
Yeah, definitely.
Will they put prayer on 313? Was that
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, every fight contains a Brazilian or two Brazilians, so I mean.
Yeah, people calling it no, this card this weekend, yeah, we're going to talk about UFC Vegas 101. I should have said that at the beginning. I mean, it's pretty obvious, though. You can see behind my head. There we go. There it is. Shout out to our boy Fight Talk Only for the artwork, and shout out to our guys at bet105.eu, Marcel. Sponsor the podcast. We appreciate those guys hooking us up. Beer Show, what are you saying? If against who? Oh, for the Pereira fight? I mean, it might be Aliev, you know? He might have to fight during Ramadan. He might not get a title shot otherwise. So, you know, he's going to have to suffer a bit, but it might be worth it if he wins the belt, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never seen a NFL football line that wide before. Like, I never have, you know. Marcel, it's like minus 3,000 for one of the games today. Like, no one's ever seen that before. The team should win, though, like, obviously. So, but you never know. It's a sport, right? So you never really know. But yeah, I think they'll win, and I think they probably end up covering too. All right, guys, we're gonna look forward to talking about this card. Right now, how many fights is it? 13 fights, Marcel, I think.
13 or 14. I haven't counted it, dude.
I'll count it myself. Let me do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the main card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's 14. Okay, 14 fights. So we got a good slate of fights to talk about today, guys. Let me pull up bet105.eu. We'll get into the podcast. All right, Marcel, let me ask you. Actually, let me get this question from Beerja. Is soccer a big sport in Canada? It's pretty big here. I mean, it's big. It's probably the biggest sport in the world, I would imagine, right? Like, I'd imagine. So, yeah, it's pretty big here. I like MMA. What's up, man? Tristan, bet105 is 10 of the 14 fights. Yeah, I'll use a different provider for the other odds. It'd be nice if they got all of them up, but I mean, they will by the end of the week. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why they're missing them. You know, they'll control that. All right, let me get into just the card itself, Marcel. I always ask you this. Your overall thoughts on UFC Vegas 101. What do you think?
I mean, I would say it's like a 7. You know, I think it looks pretty decent. I mean, the first bout order that came out was pretty weird, I think, but I think they adjusted it, and I think it makes sense. You know, right. Most of the cards on the main card belong on the main card. At least let's say 5 of them. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent card, I think. You know, it's an Apex card. I don't really expect anything big from Apex cards these days. So yeah, I think it's decent, you know. And you got 2. I know a lot of people don't like women fights, but you got 2 women in the main event who are pretty popular. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a rematch too, right? Obviously, the first fight. It was actually 6 years ago. It's crazy how fast the time goes by, right?
Yeah,
I know. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I mean, we were supposed to see it. What card was it? The Tampa card? I think it was the COVID event.
The first one was at the Tampa, and actually the second one should have been in Tampa as well. But yeah, somebody got the. I can't say it on camera what happened, but yeah, it got rescheduled.
Well, I mean, it got rescheduled, so we're glad we have the card. All right, let me get into the fights here, guys. Let's start with the first fight. We're going to use the UFCstats.com bout order. So let's start with the first fight here. Nurullo Aliev against Yanal Ashmouz. Odds for this one have Aliev minus 500, plus 400 on Ashmouz. I mean, yeah, this is a big favorite to open up the card, Marcel. I'm picking Aliev, obviously. I know you are too. There's no point in even I mean, like, do you give Ashmouz a chance? I really don't, to be honest with you. Like, I know he's a pretty good grappler. He showed against Trevor Peek in his last fight, but I just think Aliev's wrestling is going to be dominant in this fight, and I can't see this fight going any other way than Aliev just holding Ashmouz against the ground for most, like, I would say, like 10 minutes of control time in this fight at least. And I mean, I think this guy's good. You know, he hasn't fought in a year since that fight with Rafael Alves, where he actually bit the guy and got a point deduction. Marcel, remember that?
Yeah, I still think that was bullshit, but yeah.
I know you do. That's why I said it. He hasn't fought in a year, but either way, I mean, I think he'll come back here and look strong against Ashmouz. I think he just takes him down and out wrestles him and wins a clear decision. So I like him here, Marcel. I know it's minus 500, but I think he's a parlay piece. You know, I know people like making parlays, right? And this is one of the big favorites on the card. So, yep. Any thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that first fight from Aliev, he did pretty well. And I mean, if you're fish hooking me, I bite your finger off as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he won majority decision. He got a point deducted there. Ashmouz have been looking decent so far in the UFC. Only that fight against Chris Duncan, right, where we had the broken arm, I think, in the first round, but he didn't really do well. But he kept it full to the end. Yeah, also an Aliev here. Decision probably makes the most sense, I'd say. Pretty big favorite as well, I think. So yeah, Aliev for me.
Yep. 1 second. I just a friend of mine wants to know the link for the podcast. All right, cool. Hopefully he jumps in. My buddy Game Blue. I'm sure some of you guys know him on Twitter. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have another big favorite here in the women's bout here between Fatima Kline and Viktoriia Dudakova in the strawweight division. And the odds for this one are, again, astronomical. We have Fatima Kline minus 800, plus 550 on Dudakova. I'll tell you, I think the odds are a little bit high, Marcel, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really see Kline as like a minus 800. Like, I think she'll win. She's a good fighter. She's a good prospect. Dudakova, I don't think Dudakova's this bad. Like, I'm a little surprised by the odds. A little bit. Like, I'm not going to bet on Dudakova. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to do it, but I'm a little surprised. I mean, she did show obviously some flaws against Sam Hughes. The cardio looked questionable, right? But she is like a decent prospect, and I don't know why they're completely writing her off here on the betting odds. So I don't know. I'll get your thoughts. I'm going to pick Kline, Marcel. I think she'll probably win the decision here. I'm a little surprised at minus 800 though. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big. How do we say that? The odds are pretty big on Kline. I get it, style wise. I would also pick Kline here, probably by out wrestling Dudakova, But yeah, Dudakova just really like pretty much shit the bed against Sam Hughes in the last fight. And I think that's why many people are off on her. I still think she's very talented, but yeah, I expect Kline to get her first win in the UFC probably. But like you said, using her wrestling and just being too dominant with the grappling probably. So for me, also Fatima Kline by decision, another decision. So yeah.
Is Dudakova? She's still training with Potieria and those guys over there? Spain?
I don't know. I know she has the same manager, but I don't know if they're training together right now.
Yeah, I know they were. And Fatima Kline, that's Aaron Blanchfield's girlfriend, right?
Not sure about that, but I'm sure I know they train together and they were in each other's corner. It's kind of really like a mystery kind of thing. It's like how do you say that? In the background, people saying that's the case, but
right. I've seen the comments. That's why I was asking.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you know all, Marcel, as they say.
No. I don't know all.
Boys, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, dude. We appreciate you too, man, for listening. Thank you, dude. All right, let's get to the next fight here, Marcel. 1 sec, guys. Sorry about that. Go to the next fight here. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov against Bruno Lopes. This one in the light heavyweight division, Marcel. we have between two Contender Series veterans, and the odds for this one, that 105 has odds minus 222 Gadzhiyasulov, plus 187 Bruno Lopes. I'll let you start on this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was afraid you was going to say that. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, yeah, I mean, he won in the Contender Series against Jose Medina, and Dana was so impressed by Medina not getting finished that he gave him a contract. He also gave Magomed a contract. At his debut against Branson Ribeiro started pretty well, but then he kind of went to a really boring ass win, majority decision win for Gadzhiyasulov. Lopes, I'm also far from convinced from Lopes. You know, he lost the Contender Series in 2023 against Branson Ribeiro, actually the guy who Magomed beat in his UFC debut, defended his LFA title and got the win over the Sazianini fighter, who was completely gassed at a certain moment, and then Lopes put him out. Man, this is more like, I'm going with Magomed, but it's more like a fade on both guys, you know. I think this will be like, after one round, probably they are both tired as fuck. There's not going to be a very fun fight, I think. I'm going with decision win for Magomed. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Bruno wins. For me, this is a fight yeah, I mean, who cares, you know.
Yeah, by the way, we got our boy Bipolar Boxing in the chat. Glad to have you, man. Happy New Year to you, too. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Like, I'm not too high on either of these guys. I'm not sure. Like, I know Lopes got the knockout in that second round, I think it was, but like he wasn't looking very good before that fight herself. And even in that other fight, he lost as a huge favorite against Brenton Ribeiro. He was like, I think he was like minus 1,000 or something. He was a huge favorite in that fight and got knocked out. So, not sure how good he is. I mean, it's a good story, obviously. A taxi cab driver, Marcel Dana White, obviously felt that a bit or whatever, and brings him in the UFC. I know he was the LFA champion too, right? So like I can see why they brought him over. They pretty much bring, and if you win an LFA belt, you're getting in the UFC pretty much. So I get it. I don't know how good he is.
Except James Nakashima, but yeah.
Yeah, they never brought him over. But yeah, I mean he's 31, he's making his debut. I don't know how good he is really. And Gadzhiyasulov, like I'll be honest with you, Marcel, like I haven't been super impressed with the guy in the UFC so far. 2 wins obviously against Jose Daniel Medina and Brenton Ribeiro, guy I just mentioned. 2 decision wins, not too impressive. Just kind of out wrestling guys. The striking hasn't looked great. I just don't think he's looked great. But at the same time, like, I think he probably ends up winning a decision in this fight. I think this fight's going to be a grind. I don't think it's going to be a good fight. I don't like this fight, personally. Don't really care about it much. So, again, light heavyweight division's not the greatest. We'll just say that, especially in the bottom end. What you know, I ask you a question. Of the unranked guys, which is, like, worse, light heavyweight or heavyweight, do you think?
Let's say heavyweight. I still think heavyweight sucks. You know, you know how I think about it. I never get these people who are watching. It's like, oh my god, heavyweight. This got to be good. It's like, what the fuck, dude? I mean,
for a knockout, right? I mean, that's what it is.
I mean, but if you have to gamble for that all the time, you know, 9 out of 10 times it doesn't even happen with the lower ranked guys. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, they have like cardio like me, 2 minutes, and I probably don't even have.
You have 2 minutes of cardio? Wow, that's pretty.
No, good. I don't. I just say I don't probably even have 2 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? But they
I'll
barely have
2 minutes is actually longer than you think. I'll tell you that right now. Like,
I know.
And I know you know that, but like 5 minutes, like these guys going 5, it's actually like, I mean, they're pros, so they can do it, but like for a normal person, you can't do that. Trust me.
No,
like it's crazy. Even 2 minutes is long, man. When you're in there, trust me. Roth Festivals, card feels the LFA card. I mean, there's some. I think the main card's pretty good, but yeah, the prelims are not the best. I think it's an okay card, Joe. I don't think it's the best card to start the new year out personally, because I think some of the prelims were kind of weak, but I think the main card's solid personally. So I'm with Marcel. I think you said 7 out of 10. That's kind of what I would give it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but your name is not just Raw Festival because it's Raw Festival, dude. That's probably why.
All right, let's go to the next fight here. We have. I don't mind this fight. Ernesta Kareckaite against Nicolle Caliari. And the odds for this one have Kareckaite minus 300, plus 240 on Caliari. I like Kareckaite in this fight, Marcel. I like her a lot in this fight, to be honest with you. I think she's good, man. I think she's pretty good. You know, really good striking. Really good striking. We've seen that. And I think the grappling's improving. Like, I actually thought she beat Barboza in her last fight. I don't think you did. I think we got into a bit of an argument about it. I can't remember, but I thought she won that fight. And I think a lot of people did. She did get taken out a little bit, but mostly was able to get back up. Like, their opponent went 2 for 11 on takedown. So pretty good takedown defense. Again, a young fighter, you know, improving. Only 7 fights in MMA. forward kickboxer. But again, really good striking. They call her heavy-handed, right? Because she's a really solid striker. I like this girl. I think she's got potential. And then her opponent here, Caliari, 10 fights, and then had that win over Corinne Laframboise, the Raspberry Marcel. Is that what it was? The last one? Yeah. In contender. But I mean, to me, that's not a great win. Like, that girl she's an older fighter who really probably shouldn't have been on the show, because Dana would have said, we don't want older fighters anyways. So I don't know why they bring on 35-year-olds more so, and Dana's just not going to sign them anyways. But yeah, I mean, she obviously has some good submissions. She has some experience. I get that. But I think she's going to struggle to get takedowns in this fight. Kareckaite is 6 inches taller, guys, 9 inches reach advantage. And again, improving takedown defense. I think she keeps this gang. I think she boxes up Caliari. I think she wins the decision probably, but I could see a potential knockout later in the fight too. So I really like her in this fight. I think she's a good pick here. Minus 300, but I like her. What do you think, man?
For some reason, when I see the name Caliari, I always think that she's from Italy, but she's Brazilian. I don't know why.
She might have Italian parents or something, or dad was,
That's possible. I mean, she looked good, man, on the contender series, but I mean, against the Corinne Laframboise, who came back from pregnancy, that's why she didn't fight last year in the contender series, which she was supposed to.
Yep.
Kareckaite, yeah, I mean, she has looked decent, I think, Her contender series fight was entertaining as Carly Judas, a split decision.
They both got signed.
Yeah, and the only Barbosa fight was close. I had 2 rounds for Barbosa. You had 2 rounds for Kareckaite, but it was close, I'm also picking her to win here. I don't know. I think we'll be much closer than a lot of people think. I might see split decision here, but I think she will do just enough to get the win. So I'm with you on Kareckaite. I also know that you picked her in the survivors pool, so I knew you was going to pick her here. So yeah, I'm also on Kareckaite here. But again, no finish. So
I mean, this girl lost to Kate Hansen. I don't think I could pick her against anyone, man. To be honest, with you. Not the UFC. That's a tough call for me. But in all seriousness, like, I think if she doesn't get takedown, she's screwed, because the other girl has such a huge advantage in the striking and reach department. So, all right, let's get some other comments. We got our buddy Lou in the chat. What's up, man? Glad to have you here, Lou. That's Gamblue on Twitter X. Appreciate you here, man. Tristan, I think she wins easily, personally. So I like her a lot. Are the tough coaches known? No. When is tough starting? May or something?
I think a guy said in an interview in March or something, but I have no idea.
I don't really care, but I mean, I'll probably end up. I usually end up watching the fights just because the guys will fight in the UFC, but I don't watch the actual show part. You know what I mean? So
I really the Ultimate Fighter has been like lackluster since they went with the contender series. I feel like.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the fighters are not as good quality, Yeah. Antoine's in the chat. What's up, man? Glad to have you here. Hope you had a good holidays too, brother. We're always happy to have you here, man. All right, let's go in the next fight here. We have welterweights Preston, Pressure Parsons, and Andreas the Bane Gustafsson Marcel. And see here, odds for this one. Gustafsson, my bad. He is minus 185, Parsons plus 155. So what do you think about this one?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I wasn't really impressed by Andreas Gustafsson on the contender series. He got the win over Pat Pitlick, but there was a lot of like a cage against the cage, clinching and stuff. Wasn't really impressed by it, to be honest. But he got the win, so all good for him. By the way, before people going to ask, not related to Alexander Gustafsson, Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons is a guy who is like really hard to how do you say that? To see where he's at, sometimes I'm really impressed by him. Like in the fight with Matthew Samuelsberg, I think he looked really good, and then he completely shits the bed against Ogden Aliev, in my opinion. And at the same time, Aliev has been looking really good in the UFC, so maybe that's not that bad of a loss, Yep. I think Parsons is the underdog in this fight. I'm taking him, man. I think he can win a decision, man, against Andreas Gustafsson.
You have the button? You have it?
Yeah, I have it here, man. So there
First
you go.
dog of the year for Marcel.
What's up, dude? What's up? Yeah, got to do it.
Decision?
Yeah, Parsons. Yeah, decision. Another decision.
We've been saying, I know that's the thing. We've been saying mostly decisions. Like, there's going to be some finishes on this card. Not many, but
let's hope so.
By the way, are they going back to the old gloves? Do we even know?
I have no idea, man. They probably still use the newer ones because
they got to get rid of them, right? They have all the stock. They got to use it out. Trust you, and that's what it is.
Listen, man. Get rid of the new ones. I mean, do them on sale on the website. Don't sell them for $200.
That's the thing, though. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Dana's like, oh, we don't have enough of the new ones. I think he just has too many of the old ones. If they, like the old new ones. It's so confusing to talk about.
But it's also like I'm like, motherfucker, you're not gonna sell that shit for $200 like online for something you're not using anymore. You know what I mean? So
no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, this fight is. I think it's a coin flip fight. To be honest with you, like, I can see why you take Parsons. I think Gustafsson can probably keep it standing and outstrike this guy, but I mean, I'm not confident. Like, I'm not. There's other fights that we've talked about already. I'm way more confident in. I'll take Gustafsson by decision too. Maybe knockout, maybe, but like, I could see Parsons like maybe having more success in this fight than against Elliott, which again doesn't look as bad now, right? Like, I think Parsons' run hasn't been too bad in the UFC. Like, he has 2 losses that the Giles loss could have gone either way, and the Elliott loss. That was one that
win loss.
Yeah, the D-Rod fight was like a week notice or something, so I don't even think about that one. And I think the win over Elder is good, but the thing is, like, the win over Semmelsberger hasn't aged well, right? And that's probably his biggest win.
And was it also super short notice with Elder, I think?
And it was up a weight class for Elder too, right? So, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how good he is, but I remember, I think he does, like, doesn't he have a submission win over Bahamondes on regional scene? I'm pretty sure, right? Parsons?
Man, that's possible.
I'll double check. Maybe I'm thinking the other way around. Let me double check.
Yeah, actually, he has armbar win first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he has that huge win on Titan FC, right? So the guy's decent. Like, I think he's a little, like, better than people think. But again, I think Gustin probably is able to keep it standing and outstrike him. But I don't really love this fight either. Ryan, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. By the way, Ryan, I know my other buddy Ryan got your email about the pool. We definitely want you in, man. I should give a quick. I want to give this a plug, Marcel. I was going to do this at some point. I'll do it right now. Yeah, no worries. So my friend Ryan, and I'm in the pool too. We've been running a pool for like 15 years now, picking UFC fights. Yeah. So let me pull up here on my Twitter. We're looking for new recruits, and we'd love to have you guys. So if you want in, here's the info. I'll pull it up right now. You can hit me up too on Twitter if you need more info, but it's right here. So it's a year-long pick-em pool. It starts with this card next week. You pick all the main card fights, and you pick the method of victory, and we do it the whole year. So it goes from January to December, and there's a full-long contest, and then there's every 3-month block too. So the payouts are pretty good. I've won some of like the 3-month payouts. I've never won the whole thing. It's a lot harder than it looks. Even with someone like me with a pretty good pick 'em record, Marcel, it's not easy because you have to pick the method too, which makes it hard, right? So we'd love to have you guys in. Here's the email right here. My buddy Ryan Young, he runs the pool. If you want, hit me up too. But yeah, we're looking for more people. We'll start next week. So if you want in, let me know. It's a fully legit pool. I back it completely. We always pay out. The money goes into an escrow account, just sits there. So there's no funny business. And yeah, we'd love to have more people. Let's get some more comments here. La Committee, glad to have you here, man. Or Le Comité, I should say. Let me say it properly, Marcel.
Le Comité.
The French pronunciation. How do you guys think about Oban Elliott? I think he's pretty good, actually, to be honest with you, Marcel. Oban?
Yeah, I mean,
good striking and good personality, right? So,
to be fair, he's been looking better than I expected. So, I mean, no disrespect to him, and Oban is a good dude. So, yeah.
Is he still at Nando's? Is he still working at Nando's? You know,
I have no idea, dude.
I know he was. Like, I think he was working there while he was fighting it for a while. So, I always respect guys that are grinding, man. You know what I mean? Like, this is a hard sport to be in. You know what's funny, Marcel? I remember years ago, this is like 2012, 13. I was trying to get to write for UFC magazine. They used to have a magazine. I don't know if you remember this. Yeah. So I used to read it all the time. It was a good magazine. A lot of good writers are in there, and I was introduced to the guy who was the editor. And I pitched him an idea. I called it The Working Fighter. I wanted to do an article about how these guys have jobs and what their full-time job is. He's like, no, man, we can't do that. We don't want to promote the fact these guys have other jobs other than fighters. I was like, oh, okay. So the UFC tries to hide that, but half these guys have jobs, Marcel.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I didn't end up writing for them. And to be honest, like, I told the guy I was open to anything. The guy never responded. So I was like, whatever, you're a dick, dude, straight up. So, and anyways, that guy is not even in the business anymore. And I'm having a pretty good career. So, yeah. Parsons sounds like a hair to an oil fortune. Kind of, yeah. Like, he should be in like There Will Be Blood or something. Sounds like the main character of that movie. You know that movie, Marcel? Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I know the movie, definitely. Yeah.
Antoine, can you get in the pool, man? We'd love to have you. And for you, it's 200 Canadian, so that's like 140 $40 American. It's not that much. You can afford it. Come on, man. Jump in. Did you guys know that? See that nasty knockout, Laid Zarhouni? KSW, was that last week?
Yeah, he knocked out Alain van der Merkt, the Belgian prospect who was undefeated before. So, yeah, I know.
Sick. Getting a pool sounds fun. Hoping you can share it. But anyways, we'd love to have you, and you could bring your bed, dude. Also, speaking of Mondays, I don't know. I'm not sure, Antoine.
Adam just said he lost like guys who are grinding, so maybe you can grind with him in the jacuzzi. Who knows?
No, but that's funny. Has Baha Mondays fought Zellhuber yet? Have they fought each other? Because they could do that fight.
Baha Mondays fought Torres, right? I think.
They could do that fight. I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe
put it on Mexico.
They could do the winner of this fight actually coming up. You know what? They could do this. Well, he's already fought him too, I guess, but maybe a rematch. But yeah, let's get to the next fight here. Speaking of lightweights, all right, let's get to the next one, guys. We are running pretty good here with time. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We have the lightweights, Trey Ogden and Thiago Moises, and the odds for this one have bet 105 minus 187 Moises, plus 160 Ogden, the Samurai. Hit the button for me, man. Let's do it. Take a dog. Taking Trey Ogden here, guys. I think Trey is one of the most underrated guys in this division. Like, no one's talking about him as a contender, and I get it. He's 36 this year, so he's not really a contender, but he's a very good fighter. Very high fight IQ. He's obviously a coach. Coaches those guys at Marathon, Miles Johns, all those other guys that left James Krause's old camp. Really good wrestling. Solid striking. Never been taken down in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight win streak officially, but he did beat Nicolas Mata, and for some reason they overturned it to a no contest when he clearly won the fight by submission. I'm not sure why it was overturned. It doesn't make sense to me.
Because Mata didn't tap.
Sorry?
Because Mata didn't tap. But
bro, they should have went to the scorecards.
Yeah, I agree.
He won the first 2 rounds, and I'll never understand why they didn't. He appealed it too, and they just didn't help him out. And I remember the ref, it was I think it was Tione. No, it was Beltran, Mike Beltran, which a rare fuck up by him. But I mean, he did stop it early because he didn't tap, but he won the first 2 rounds, so he got robbed out of a win. And not only that, but I remember he said like he talked to the UFC and he's like trying to get his win bonus. They didn't give it to him. So to me, that's lame because it's not like he's making that much money anyways. You know, he's a mid card guy.
I'm with you.
Anyways, just talking about the matchup. I mean, I think the guy is good. Like, you know, Marcel, it's funny when he came to UFC, I'm like, this guy doesn't have a good record. He's lost to Thomas Gifford twice by submission on the regional scene. That's not good. Loses to Jordan Levitt. I'm like, okay, this guy's not good. And then has that win over Daniel Zellhuber, which has really aged well. I mean, I think that win has really, really aged well.
Yeah, it is.
And at the time, it seemed like a massive upset that surprised everyone, right? But in hindsight, like, this guy's pretty good. So I think he's a solid fighter, man. Again, good wrestling, 100% takedown defense, decent striking. He's not amazing, but he's solid. And then with Moises, like, there's a lot to like about him, obviously. Tons of experience now in the UFC. He's fought mostly high-level guys, mostly only lost to high-level guys. And that's why he's favored here, because if you look at his run, it's like he loses to all the really good fighters and beats everyone that's like mid-tier. So I get that, right? But I think he's beatable. And I know he is with the fighting nerds now, and those guys have not really lost lately. So that's the part that's tripping me up a little bit because that team is full of winners right now. But at the same time, Marcel, like, I don't think his striking is very good. He has a high negative striking differential, guys. He's landing about 2.5 and getting hit with over 4 strikes a minute. So his striking differential is really poor. His chin is not that great. His grappling is good if you can get it down, but his takedown accuracy and just ability to get to the ground against a guy like Ogden with 100% takedown defense, I don't think it's going to work so well. Like, you might get him down a couple times, but again, Ogden's going to bounce back up, I think. I like the matchup for Ogden, man. I think he's a good dog here, guys, at plus 160. I don't view the fight like this at all. So I'm thinking Trey Ogden, and I think he wins the decision. So there you go. Another decision, but I like the dog in this one, man. Go ahead, man.
For some reason, with some fighters, I always
mix
them up with somebody like Bill Alger with Pat Sabatini. For some reason, I have that with Trey Ogden and Josh Fremd. Like, they totally different weight class, don't look like each other, but I always have that. Trey Ogden, yeah, he's like also, like you said, a coach at Marathon MMA with Miles Johns and Garrett Armfield and these guys. If I look at it, I mean, listen, man, if you look at, how do you say that? The momentum is definitely in Ogden's favor, you know. the same time, dude, I don't think he's a better fighter than Moises, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Moises is a little bit on the decline as of lately, but he has only lost against good competition, in my opinion. And Ogden is decent, but I'm not categorizing with the guys where Moises has lost against, and maybe this is like kind of a crossroads fight where Moises is done and Ogden goes up from here. It's possible. Still believe more in Moises, picking Moises by decision, and I think it will be a close. I don't think Moises wins easily. No, absolutely not. I think it will be a close fight, but I have more faith in Moises for some reason than I have in Ogden. But maybe I'm completely wrong, and I can see your point, dude. So,
let's see what happens.
Moises,
yeah. I just think Trey is really underrated personally. Let's get some comments here. Yeah, I mean, I remember I picked Levin in that fight. It was a split decision. It was close. I thought Levin would win, and he did, but I really think Ogden's looked good since then. Other than really, I think it was the Bahamondes fight. He's in that fight. He didn't even attempt a takedown that, or he attempted one. So that fight didn't go to the ground, So against a really high level striker with a huge reach advantage, I just don't see Moises as that guy. So we'll see. I get this comment. I think it's cool. MMA is one of the sports you can do in your mid-30s and still fight at a high level, unlike NFL, NBA, where people like LeBron James and Tom Brady are anomaly. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Bashi, yeah, we'll talk about him in a minute. You're skipping ahead, to be fair. What would you have to wait? You have to wait 4 more fights. Just hold on. We're almost there. All right, let's get to the next fight here, Marcel. We have a light heavyweight bout, or a middleweight bout, between Marco Tulio and Ihor Potieria. We should call him Marcel Tulio. Can we call him that, Marcel?
Why Marcel?
Because his name's Marco. It's kind of like the same thing, isn't it?
Okay, whatever you want.
Marcel Tulio. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I was gonna say Marcel. Marco Tulio, guys, is, let's see the odds in this one. All right,
pretty big favorite.
He is minus 500, plus 400 on Potieria. Yeah, I'm taking Marco Tulio. Yeah, I'm not going to pick Potieria against pretty much anyone. The guy's had a really bad run. I'll give him credit for the fight with the Robert Bridchick guy. That was a solid upset win. But he's looked bad in the UFC, guys. I guess the Shogun fight, but I mean, come on. That was like the ghost of Shogun. It was bad.
Show ghost.
At middleweight, I guess he's a little bit better of a fighter than light heavyweight, right? Where he was really outsized, but I still don't think he's good at all. And he got screwed again by the ref. It was the ref, right? What ref was it against Cesar Almeida? Dave Zelchad, who I don't think should ever ref again in the UFC. Remember that fight with Cesar Almeida?
Of course, I remember the fucking idiot. Yeah,
he would break it up like every time he went for a clinch, right? He was breaking.
Yeah,
it up.
Plus, I think Almeida kicked him like 3 or 4 times in the nuts, and he's like, "No, nothing happened." No.
Yeah, that guy must have had money on him or something. It was weird.
Yeah. I
just don't think he's very good. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Tulio, I don't know how good Tulio is, but he did knock out that guy, Matthew Duclos. That was a nice knockout. That's being back again. And he beat your guy, that Dutch guy, Marcel Yusri, that Belgari, that Dana White hates, that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Only finished last year that didn't get a contract. Dana's like, nah, we're not interested. We don't like this guy. I don't like him. Next. So, anyways, I think Tulio wins. I think Tulio probably knocks him out. So, I'm finally picking a finish, Marcel. Tulio by knockout.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a finish in this one. I'm also picking a finish. I wouldn't even be surprised if Potieria can get it, but I'm also going with Tulio, man. I think Tulio is pretty decent. He's from Diego Lima, had shoot the box team. Pretty decent fighter. Although, let's be really honest, his second Contender Series fight wasn't even great until the great knockout. I think it was also was decent, but not amazing. And the Belgari fight, the reason why he didn't get a contract back then was that the UFC knew that Yusri was ill in that fight, and he clearly won the fight against Yusri, but it was not like really spectacular. But he's now the UFC. I'm happy for him. He gets a fight. It's winnable for him. I think he puts Potieria away. But I mean, Potieria is a guy who's got like a lot of shit over him. At the same time, yeah, listen, he got some bad results, but there are parts and fights where he looks pretty good, man. The Bellato fight, he almost finished Bellato, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
I mean, you could take a shot at him by knockout, honestly, because the odds are going to be crazy. So you could You could.
Mhm.
I wouldn't personally, but
No, I'm saying also
that's his path, right? If he gets a crazy knockout, like it's possible, but I don't know, man. I don't see it. Let's get some other comments here.
the last one.
You can start in May when you want NFL and NBA when they pick you up in the street. Yeah, I mean this guy's not wrong about that. Adam, if you were judging, give me $30K cash, I could bet for you. Dude, I think people are naive that doesn't happen. I really do. You know, judges and refs. I'm not necessarily saying at the UFC level, but even at the regional scene level, like how do you not know that these guys are like Marcel? How could you find out if I went up to you right in a dark alley and I was like, I slipped you an envelope of like 10,000. I'm like, we'll put it on this guy. No one would ever know. No one would know.
There are too many weird decisions sometimes. Yeah. You can really like the Tai Tuivasa Rosenstruck 30-27. You cannot give that 30-27. Renat against Carlos Leal. You cannot give that 30-27. Listen, 29-28. I also didn't see that, but there's probably you can at least get some argument with it, you know. But sometimes 30-27 is like how, you know, it's just not possible.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They don't even try to hide it, you know.
Sometimes it's just so obvious, but yeah, I mean, I just think you'd be naive to think that there isn't some funny business going on behind the scenes. All right, let's get to the next comment or next fight. Excuse me. Flyweights: Jose Johnson, Felipe Bunes. Bet 105 the odds, minus 207 Johnson, plus 175 Bunes. I'll let you start.
Oh, that's so nice of yours. So Felipe Bunes, he has one fight in the UFC, right? He fought Joshua Van, actually at the first card of last year, where he lost. I mean, I think he's decent, man. He also got a win, and he also got the title on LFA before. If you look at Jose Johnson is 1-2 in the UFC. Got that win over Chet Anheliger, which I think is a pretty decent win. You know, Chet Anheliger isn't a bad fighter. He got that really, how do you say that win against Jack Cartwright in Contender Series in 2022, where Cartwright was like pretty much be like one of the biggest prospects coming from England, who was undefeated and then lost. Yeah, he lost by Twister to Damon Blackshear in 2023. Yeah, and his last fight against Almabayev, he lost, but he was a lot more tougher than I expected in that fight, you know, and Almabayev wasn't able to get him away. I think it will be a close fight. I think it will be a typical flyweight fight where both guys will do pretty well, but I'm taking Jose Johnson here. I think he wins the decision.
And hit the button. Yeah, hit it. Yeah, I'm taking a dog here again. I'm taking another dog. I like Felipe Bunes in this fight. I think he can out-wrestle Jose Johnson. Like, if you look at Johnson's career, like, the takedown defense is fucking terrible, quite frankly. 6 takedowns against Almabayev, 4 against Anheliger, 2 against Blackshear, 6 against Cartwright, 12 against Ronnie Lawrence. The guy can't stop a takedown. You know, he's just bad defensively grappling. Like, he's a pretty talented guy, and I get why he's favored here because he's so much bigger again. You know, you talk about size advantage. He's 6 feet for a flyweight, so he's got 5 inches of height, 2 inches of reach. He's a bit younger, so all the biometrics are in his favor. So I understand that. Plus, he has more experience in the UFC. I get all that. I just really think the takedown defense is so bad that I think that Bunes can get him down. On Bunes, only the one fight in the UFC. It was actually a year ago next week, so almost 1 year since his debut when he fought Josh Van, and he got knocked out in the second round, but the first round had a lot of success, right? Looked really good in the first round. And that's against Josh Van, who was a top 15 guy who's going to be top 10 very soon. So I don't think that loss is as bad as people think. I wish he had more experience in the UFC since then, but it is what it is. That's why you're getting him at a dog price. I think it's a competitive fight. Most flyweight fights are. I'm taking Bunes. I think he wins. I think he wins a decision. So I'm going to take him as a dog. That's my second dog on the card. Oh, there we go. Marcel, it's out. The news is out.
I literally just posted it. Just wanted to say it. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, there you go. So right before we started, Marcel told me there could be a fight that's going to get changed, and he didn't tell me what it was, but there we go, Marcel. Joe Selecki's in for Ashmouz, or what's the fight now?
Selecki against Nurullo Aliev is the fight.
I'm taking Aliev in that fight, guys. You're taking Aliev still?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, it's hard to break it down without odds right now, guys, but I will throw it actually right into the comments here. I'll throw it in the comments just so people can see what we're talking about. Is there anything you want to say about the fight, like really quick?
I mean, I'm still picking Aliev, man. I mean, Joe Selecki's, decent fighter, as we all know. Short notice, Aliev. I have high hope for Aliev, man. So nothing really changes in my opinion. So yeah, there you go.
I know you're waiting to get confirmation, right?
No, I have it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I wanted to say it when you were finished talking, but it's already out. So,
Oh, my bad. I just read Moises' comment. Craig, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Bunis, yeah, that hat looks awesome. I mean, Lou, I agree that you can't get it down on a regional fight. So, I mean, that wasn't, that was a bit of exaggeration, I should say, but I still think there's funny business going on for sure between these judges and the refs and their friends. I remember there was a fight years ago. It's like 10 years ago. Clay Guida fought Hatsu Hioki in Chicago, and a lot of people thought that Hioki should have won that fight. Do you remember that fight, Marcel?
Yeah.
And Guida won a split decision, and then later on, people went on Guida's like Facebook, and he was friends with one of the judges, Marcel. He was a Facebook friend with one of the judges, who was a Chicago guy, and Guida's from Chicago, so they were friends. And the guy, of course, was the dissenting judge. So it was really sketchy, and I'm sure there's more of that shit that goes down. I'm sure there is.
Do you remember in Brazil, the Eduardo Herdy guy who was reffing Leandro Silva against Drew Dober?
Yeah.
And Dober, he got submitted, but he never tapped, and he wasn't out.
They overturned that one, yeah.
Yeah, they overturned it because actually the referee admitted this mistake. While he was a friend of Leandro Silva, but he admitted this mistake. He was like, listen, I saw it wrong. Overturn it if you want to overturn it, and then he overturned it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they actually overturned that one. So one of the rare ones they did overturn. They usually don't do it, especially in Brazil. All right, let's go to the next fight, guys. This is the first fight on the main card, right, Marcel? Puna Soriano.
Yeah, that's the first one.
And it's a banger open at the main card here, guys. And we have odds bet 105.eu, minus 211 Uros Medic, plus 178 Puna Soriano. I love this fight. I mean, to me, this is one of the best fights of the card. I think this fight's going to be awesome. Two guys are going to go in there and strike. Medic, I think, has looked really good in the UFC overall. The two losses to Turner and Mukhtarborovi, like, they're not that bad, and all the other fights are knockout wins, so he's looked really impressive to me. And then with Puna, a lot of people wrote him off. I picked him against Miguel Baeza, and he beat the shit out of him, dude. 144-7 in significant strikes. Like, it was one of the biggest beatdowns you'll ever see. 2 30-25 scorecards, and one of these judges had 30-27, Chris Kinman. First off, I've never heard of that guy. Second off, how do you give 10-8 rounds? That's crazy. Anyways, it was beyond impressive. He looked amazing in that fight, and I think it sent Baeza packing. So that was at welterweight, where I think Puna's going to look better in general. He looked better in that fight. At the same time, though, he's still super, super hittable, and Medic has power. Medic, he's obviously fought at lightweight. Now at welterweight, I think his chin is a little bit more durable. And he's got power. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I think this one could go either way. I think it could, because Puna has power and he can wrestle too. But I still think that Medic can crack him. So I'll take Medic by knockout. I wouldn't bet on this one personally. I think it's a fight that either guy has a chance to win. But I'll take Medic for a pick here by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm totally with you, actually, man. I feel like I think Puna can knock him out, but at the same time, I think Medic is has more technique overall, and I think Medic has more ways to win. And I like Medic. He looked bad against. He didn't even look bad against Oral Boy, but he got caught. I'm thinking Medic here as well, man. I like Medic. He's one of the Alaskan fighters I actually like, all the way from Serbia, I know. But Medic by TKO, I think late second, early third round.
There you go. A couple other comments here. I appreciate that, Lou. You're a smart guy. Lou's one of the best, so give him a follow, guys, on Twitter. UFC fighter losing on purpose to hit a crazy bet. I mean, that's probably happened too. Again, it's hard to know, but it did happen with, well, I don't know if the fighter did it, but Derek Minner, obviously, that fight with James Krause, Marcel, where Derek Minner was injured going into the fight, and Krause was allegedly, I should say allegedly, but information in this Discord. We're not trying to get sued here, right? But the FBI investigated the guy, so it's not like, again, it's all alleged. I'm not saying anything happened for sure, but Howie Booth, Marcel talked about that. That was a really bad decision. Put cameras on the judges so you can see what they see. Watch on TV angles are different. So I agree with what you're saying. I've been to events where, and you have too, Marcel, when the judges are like, they're looking around the posts like this because they can't see.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, but in the UFC, they have monitors for the most part, especially in Vegas. They have monitors. So there's no excuse in Vegas because they have a monitor. But, and I think that card, that one in Abu Dhabi, the one with Lial and Renat, I think they had monitors there too because the UFC was the commission. But there's obviously some smaller places where they won't have monitors. But if they have a monitor, there's no excuse. So
I still think, and that's my opinion, that you put the judges in a bunker, with not they don't have to be
yeah, we
cage
talked
side.
about that.
I still
put
don't
some
understand
noise
that.
canceling headphones so
Yeah.
they can't hear the crowd and
Exactly.
lock them in a room. Yeah, they could do that too. That's possible. I mean, it won't happen, but the thing, you know why it would happen? Because these judges have a great job. And our boy Johnny's talked about this, Johnny the Greek.
Yeah.
They have one of the best jobs in the sport. They get to sit cage side and watch the fights for free and get paid to watch the fights. And they have influence on who wins the fight. So they have an important job. And they have the best view so yeah, they're moving past the post, but they're still right there, Marcel. Those tickets would be worth like $100,000 if there's a pay-per-view card. So remember that. No one else gets those tickets. Managed body shot. I mean, that's possible too, for sure. Brundage. I mean, I don't know if he's paying you a lot, but he goes down first a lot. Or with Medic, yeah, me too. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have here's that fight that our boy was talking about in Lazy Bed. Christian Rodriguez against Austin Bashi, and this is featherweight. So Bashi is a guy who used to fight at bantamweight, and he fought at featherweight in his debut on Contender, and now he's fighting here UFC at featherweight too. And they're giving him a pretty tough fight in his debut here. Not an easy fight for Bashi. He is a minus 230 favorite, though, over at bet105.eu, and Rodriguez plus 195 dog. Really like this fight here. Good matchmaking. The odds are wide, Tristan. I agree. I'm reading the comments right now, Marcel. But I got to tell you, I think Bashi, and I know you agree with me because you've talked about it on the show, he is one of the best prospects on Contender. And the crazy thing is, Marcel, if he didn't finish that fight, Dana probably said he was going to pass on him, which is crazy because as far as like skill and talent go, I mean, he's one of the most talented guys that was on the show last year.
Dana would have made an absolute fool out of himself if he passed on him.
I mean, you'd hope that remember before it's like 2-1 with the matchmakers, you'd hope that Nick and Sean would say, you're crazy. But yeah, I mean, the guy's talented. 10 takedowns in that fight. And I've been following him for a while because Spectation Sports, a MMA site I write for, we had a lot of his fights in Detroit and Michigan televised, or I should say live streamed on our site. So I was doing previews for this guy for the last couple of years, and I'm always like, well, this guy's going to win. He's going to win. And his odds were always like minus 1,000. So on the regional thing, he's like minus 1,000. Now he comes to UFC, he's still minus 230, but I think he wins. I like C-Rod. He's a good fighter, solid fighter. It's a good test, but, again, pretty bad takedown defense, I think. And I think that's going to get him here, Marcel. Like, he's been taking down all of his fights in the UFC, including his wins. Including that win over Isaac Bulgarian, which I still think is one of the worst decisions of last year, personally. I think this guy gets taken down. Now, the question for me is, like, does he get subbed or decision? I think it's going to be a decision, personally. But he gets subbed by Julian Rosa, so it's possible. But, yeah, I like Bashi. I know the odds seem high, but I think he wins, man. I think he gets takedowns. I think he wins the decision. So, we're in Bashi. What do you think?
So this might be the fight I'm looking forward to the most. I really like C-Rod. I really like Bashi. So I mean, it's like a really interesting fight. Bashi's super young, still very talented guy. Went easily through almost every opponent they give him, so far in the regional scene. C-Rod will be a level up for him. And it's a tricky fight, I think, to be really honest. I think they give him a pretty good opponent in this debut fight, This is not like Paddy Pimblett, Sean O'Malley matchmaking when they started in the UFC. This is like a really good opponent they give him, although he lost his last fight against Rosa. I still think Bashi is talented enough to get the win here, man. I think we'll be close. I think both guys will have some good how do you say that? Some good moments in the fight. But overall, I think Bashi's ground game is really good, man. You saw his control, which was really, I know it was a short notice opponent, but still he looked really good, man. His control was amazing. I was impressed. I'm picking him by decision. Can he finish him? I think it's possible, but I think decision is like the safe way to go, like you said, And I'm picking Bashi by decision. I'm really high on the dudes, and I'm also still pretty high on Christian Rodriguez, although he lost against Rosa. So I think it's a high level fight. I'm picking Bashi. I think that will be a fun one, and this can be like a real fun grappling fight, either standing fight as well, But yeah, Bashi for me, this is the one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, it's a good fight. And with Bashi, like, the guys he fought in Lights Out Championship, like, some of them are not terrible fighters. Like, Pipe Vargas is a decent prospect. Askar, like, these are decent prospects. They're not great, but they're decent for regional scenes. So he fought some decent guys for the UFC. I think he's good. By the way, where is it? This is a different Lightstone promotion, just so you know. I know that Sean Merriman, former NFL player, he has the promotion too, but the one in Michigan's different. His is in California. It's a bit different. So, yeah, I know that's the other thing with really they should be at bantamweight. But Tristan, you're betting on Rodriguez, huh? All right, fair enough. I mean, I think Bashi wins, but you never know. I mean, he's not wrong about the jitters that's gotten guys before, but I think Bashi. I think these contender series, it gives these guys a bit of a chance to get that feel, right?
And it's the same octagon, it's almost the same, yeah.
Yeah, but you never know, really. It's affected guys before. It's not like Tristan's crazy for saying that. You're not crazy, Tristan. Don't worry. All right, let's get to the next fight here.
I mean, maybe you are, but we don't know. So no, just kidding, Tristan. All good.
All right, next fight here. Chris Curtis taking on Roman Kopylov, middleweight fight. Fun fight here. One of the better fights in the card, I would say. Roman's minus 253, Curtis plus 210. I got to be honest, I'm a little surprised by these odds. I think it's a little heavy. I don't know what you think. Like, I'm going to pick Kopylov. I love the guy. I mean, for the most part, I picked him on his fights. I think I did pick Cesar Almeida, who's in the next fight. Funny enough, against him. Got that wrong. But I love Kopylov. I mean, his striking is incredible. Like, his body shots, his kicks, everything. But, Chris Curtis is not a bum. Like, I mean, the guy has solid wins in the UFC. He beat Buckley. He beat Brendan Allen. And the last fight with Brendan Allen, Marcel, I mean, that was a close fight, He's not getting any credit for that fight here. He did lose, but it was like razor thin. It came down to like, and it was short notice. It came down to like the last minute of the fight or something, like very close. Obviously he had some close fights too with like Kelvin Gastelum as well. Chris Curtis is solid. I mean, I know people don't really like the guy, but he's a good fighter, man. So I think the odds are inflated here. I think this fight is going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be a stand-up fight, goes the distance, but I got to go with Kopylov because of just the variety of his attacks on the feet with the striking to the body, to the legs, to the head. And also, like, of the two of them, I think he's more likely to shoot a takedown if they need one. Like, Curtis has never landed a takedown in the UFC. He's not going to take him down. So it makes game planning for Curtis a little bit easier because he's not going to shoot takedowns. So it's just going to be a stand-up fight. And then Roman, like, it's going to be, just say it's like a close round, then Roman could try to shoot a takedown with, like, a minute left, 30 seconds to steal the round too. So I think Kopylov wins, but I think the odds are a little bit high because I think this fight's pretty competitive. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. By the way, I don't know why Chris Curtis got so much hate from a lot of people. I never had any problem with him. But, I mean, I think will be a competitive fight, mostly standing. Kopylov wants to keep it standing. Curtis wants to keep it standing. So, I'm with you. I'm also on Kopylov's side. I think he wins. So, that's my pick.
There we go. Let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have another middleweight bout, back-to-back middleweight bouts, Marcel. Cesar Almeida and Abdul Razak Al Hassan, bet 105. Minus 295 on Cesar Almeida, plus 240 on Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I feel the same way. I actually feel really the same way about this fight. I think that the favorite probably wins, Cesar Almeida, but the odds are a little high, man. Minus 295. I think they're a little bit high. Like, the reason I'm picking him is because he should be the more technical striker with just more variety on the feet with the kicks and everything, but
no takedown threat.
Yeah, exactly. Never landed a takedown with Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Like, it's not common for him, but he has landed a takedown here and there. Tons of experience in the UFC as well, way more experience. But again, I still don't trust his cardio completely, Marcel, to be honest with you. I still don't trust his chin completely. So I don't know. I think the odds are heavy though. I wouldn't, again, there's 14 fights in this card. These last two fights, these middleweight fights, they're just not fights I'm interested in betting on. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys will bet on them, and I get that, because you guys have different reads than me. But for me, it's like these odds seem inflated on the favorite. Yeah, I don't want to take the underdog either. So I'll take Cesar Almeida. I think he probably knocks out Al Hassan, but I mean, I can't get there for a bet. What do you think?
I, by the way, agree with Moi's audio and Tristan. I think there is really value on Al Hassan, definitely in the first round. You always know
very possible.
Yeah, he always comes out like fierce and tries to knock your head off. And it's definitely possible. Listen, Almeida might be most technical striker, but he can get knocked out as well at the same time. I think it will keep standing. It will probably go to a decision. If Almeida wins, it will go to a decision, I think. I don't think he puts Al Hassan away. If there will be a finish, Al Hassan puts Almeida away. That's what I think. So I either go with first round win for Al Hassan or a decision for Almeida. to be safe, I'm picking Almeida because I think that's more safe. But man, I won't be surprised at all if Al Hassan flatlines him.
Yeah, these odds surprised me when I saw them. I was looking at the card a couple of days ago, get it prepared for this podcast, and I before I look at the odds, I kind of like think in my head and I write them down like what I think. I have this capped at like a smaller favorite for Almeida, so I think the odds are inflated here. Same with the Kopylov fight. Like I think both fighters should be favored, but not by this much. That's just me. I mean, I'm sure people might parlay both those guys, but that's risky in my opinion. You know. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have. Oh, we're at the co-main event already, Marcel. Here we go. Fight 13. Fun one here in the welterweight division as veterans Santiago Ponzinibbio and Carlston Harris meet inside the cage. And then Bet 105 has odds for this one, I believe. We have a straight pick'em, guys, minus 107 each. So it's a straight pick'em fight. If I'm not mistaken, Harris opened as the favorite and the money's come in slightly on Ponzinibbio. So the line's tightened up. I'm looking at other sports books right now, and it's a pick'em everywhere. So everywhere has the same odds for this fight. People are flipping a coin on this one. You know, Marcel, I'll tell you though, I'm going to go with Ponzinibbio in this fight. I'm going to take Ponzinibbio. And the reason why is because I think that Ponzinibbio is just a far better striker. And I think that Carlston Harris won't have a ton of success getting Ponzinibbio to the ground. I think it'll be difficult. I do think Ponzinibbio, you know, the fight with Salikov was very close. I remember the betting odds for that fight. It was minus 20,000 at the bell, and everyone thought he was going to win. He lost the split decision. It was like a big surprise because he was such a big favorite. He was like a huge favorite, one of those big 5 favorites, and lost. I thought he won that fight. And you look at some of the other fights in his streak. Jeff Neal fight was split decision. Pereira fight split decision. Like these fights are close. He has been KO'd obviously a couple of times, and that's always a worry. But
didn't he also look? He looked really bad against Morono.
And they knocked him out. So some of his fights are they're kind of odd, right? I agree with you. But the guy's usually competitive in his fights. I know he's an older guy. Obviously, he's turning 39 this year, so he's getting up there in age, but still competitive. With Carlston Harris, like I don't know how good he really is. Like I know he's had some good wins in the UFC. Like Impa was a nice win. Jeremiah Wells, the comeback win, but getting dominated 2.5 rounds, comes back late in the fight. I don't know what to think about that. And then obviously the other 2 losses against Shavkat, you could forget about that one. But Chaos Williams, I mean, Chaos Williams is a pretty good fighter. I think he's underrated. Gets knocked out in his last fight. So I don't know. I mean, I just and he's not young. He's 30. He's turning 37, 38 this year. They're both older guys. You know, it's not like he's 27. He's 27 and picking him, but I'm not. I think Ponzinibbio wins. Like I was surprised that he opened as a dog. I think people are on the right side here. I think he might close as the favorite. So I'm taking Ponzinibbio, Marcel. Probably decision, but I could see him possibly catching Carlston Harris, who's been knocked out a couple times. So I'm taking Pons. What do you think, dude?
Horrible fight to pick, to be really honest, man. I think Ponzinibbio is still on a heavy decline, in my opinion. I think Harris isn't that great, you know. So it's like you're picking. I'm either fading Ponzinibbio, or I don't think Harris is that good enough, you know. I don't think Harris is that good enough, you know. Ponzinibbio, he still can be. The thing with Ponzinibbio is he's declining, but he's still like, how do you say that, competitive, the fights he fights overall, except the Holland fight. He looked really bad in my opinion. Ponzinibbio for me, probably by decision. But it's I wouldn't have put this fight as a co-main event. I know Ponzinibbio is a really popular guy and he does work, I think, also for UFC deporters. But I mean, I would have put him on the main card, but not as the co-main event, you know.
That's fair. All right, we got some comments, by the way. How much longer is Abdul have performance level his age? He's 39, right? I think Phil wrote him off a few years ago, right after that whole rape allegation thing.
The Al Hassan dude, he's like the typical guy who is like already almost in his 40s, but he looks like
he looks like he's like 20 late 20s.
25, 26-year-old.
He's a freak athlete, dude. Yeah. He's a freak athlete for sure. Copy them. Pons has never been subbed. I just checked free Tristan, never have. What's up, Daniel? Confident in Harris. You like Harris? Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I think Harris is a pretty good fighter, but I don't like him in this fight. Missed Rodriguez Bashi. Christian likes him. I don't, but we'll see. San Diego jumps to the belt. He doesn't have the devastating layoff. He missed like 4 years of his career or something. Something like that. It was crazy. Maybe give the edge to Salikov. Both are old. Yeah, I think he should have won that fight. Yeah, the Chaos fight was Bruno. Where's Chaos? What happened to Chaos?
No, I did. By the way, if Harris didn't lose that way to chaos, I might
He's
be
fighting
more
top 15
confident.
guy too.
Yeah,
And
but I also would have been more confident in him.
fair enough, but let me ask you a question. Like, just say that the judges gave the fight to Ponzinibbio instead of Salikov. Wouldn't you pick him here? Wouldn't he be favored here?
I
Like,
don't
I think
know.
you're getting a discount on him because of that. Because I think he should have won that fight.
I
Salikov's
think it
coming
was
off an
close.
amazing knockout loss. You know, it was close. It was close. All right, we got to the hour mark, guys. Let's get to the main event. Perfect timing, actually, Marcel. Right there you go. We got the main event here, guys. It's a rematch between Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Ribas, and the odds here at Bet 105 have minus 197 on Amanda Ribas, plus 167 on Mackenzie Dern. Marcel, let you start. Go ahead.
I mean, rematch. They fought each other in 2019. It was the first loss for Mackenzie Dern in her professional career. Unanimous decision. For Ribas, I think it was her second fight in the UFC. Yeah, I mean, for Ribas, she fights at flyweight. She fights at strawweight. I've been told they will keep at strawweight for now. You know, her last fight was actually at flyweight against Rose Namajunas. She lost that fight. You know, before that, Luana Pinheiro fight, where she was looking really bad in the first round, but came back and finished her. If you look at Mackenzie Dern is like a win-loss, and the thing is, like, she wins against the people I expect her to win against, like Angela Hill. You know, she's losing against Andreas, against Lemos, and the last fight was pretty decent outing from her against Lupi Godinez. So, I mean, I think it's a close fight. You know, both girls are really good with jiu-jitsu. Obviously, both girls have a dad who are like Wellington Diaz and Marcelo Ribas, who are like really good with the BJJ masters, right? Yeah, I mean, I see more of like probably a copy of the first fight, but this time it's 5 rounds instead of 3. You know, it depends who can like project the will to the other. I think with the stand up, I think Mackenzie Dern is not an amazing striker, but Amanda Ribas is also not an amazing striker. But I think she's striking. I think her striking technique is better than Mackenzie, but I think Mackenzie hits harder. That's what I think. You know. And with the grappling, I think it's pretty even each other, to be really honest. I'm going with Ribas. I'm taking her by decision. But, man, it's a fucking close fight. It can go the other way as well. I think it's super close, man, to be honest.
Yeah, and by the way, there's a comment for Matthew, which I'm going to read. What's up, Matthew? First off, he said he's confused by Tapology having Dern by a slight favorite. So, as far as the betting odds go, Ribas is a 2-1 favorite. As far as the first fight goes, it was 6 years ago. Right, yeah. I think both fighters are different now. Like, I don't know how much we can take away from that first fight. I don't know, and I should say, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to double check because I don't want to say something wrong. I think Dern was a big favorite in that fight and lost. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check though.
I don't know. She's definitely a favorite. I think.
First fight was Dern was minus 200 in that fight, so the odds were flipped. So she was the favorite and lost. Hit the button for me. Yeah, I'm going to take the dog in this one, guys. And again, I understand why people I understand why people are going to pick Ribas because she did win that first fight. But again, like I just said, you know, it's a long time ago. You know, how many fights has Dern had since then? She's had 5. She's had 11 fights since then, guys, against like high-level competition usually too. And it's gotten better, I think. Like, it's weird with Dern. Sometimes I write her off, like, and then she looks really good, you know? So, and there's fights where I thought she'd win and she got smashed. So I think Dern's really inconsistent, but I can say the same thing for Ribas. I think they're both inconsistent, to be honest with you. With Dern, though, like, I still think that she could make small improvements in her game. Like, as far as her striking goes, I'm with you. Like, the technique's not great, but, you know, there's still improvements she can make there. And like you said, she does have a little, not a ton of power, but she hits, you know, decently hard enough where she can, you know, hurt her opponents here. Ribas, you know, has some knockouts in the UFC. So, I mean, she's got a little bit of power too. And it's a close fight, guys. Like, really, you can make the argument either way, I think. But for me, it's like, I like Dern because I think that this is a different fight than the first fight. And to me, it's a pick-em fight, in my opinion. There's a few fights on this card that I think really can go either way, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of feel like the 5 rounds favors Dern too, personally. She has more experience in 5-round fights as well. I mean, if you look at who she's lost to too, Marcel, like Lemos, Andrade, Jan Janen and Marina Rodriguez. That one maybe she would want back, but that was 4 years ago, and Marina was on fire then. And then even with Ribas though, like Rose is not a bad loss. Barber, the way she lost to Barber though worries me too. She got destroyed in that fight, man. She also got knocked out by Rodriguez. Yeah, true. But she also got knocked out by Arena and then Seminara.
The Seminara one could have gone her way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Again, it's a close fight. I mean, I'm not going to argue with anyone about this one. Like
the only really questionable loss, in my opinion, on Ribas's record was oh my god, it's probably the knockout against Poliana Viana, which is really bad. But it was not the UFC,
No, it wasn't the UFC, but I saw that one it's on YouTube, I think. I remember.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad knockout.
Flatlined, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Dern knocks her out, but we'll see. I don't know. I think Dern will be the more physically imposing fighter in this fight. I think she wins a decision, but again, it's a close fight, guys. So let's get some comments here. I like MMA. It's a tricky one. I'll go with Dern. Don't trust Ribas. The weight class up and down. Fair enough. Lou, pretty sure it was Dern's first fight after giving birth. She rushed back. Dern's revenge factor must be considered. I think he's right about that actually. With Dern, I think she did have her kid after that or before that fight, right?
Are you sure before? I think that was after, dude.
Or was it after? I think he might be right, actually. No, I think he's right. Yeah, I think he's right about that.
Okay.
Over 4.5. I think it probably goes to the decision. Do you see a knockout? Like, do you think Dern could knock out Ribas?
It's possible, of course. It's always possible. Like I said, Dern has power. Her technique is not great, but she has the power. So I'm
looking at Dern. Yeah, she dropped Angela Hill. That's the win with the Angela Hill one. She looked amazing in that fight, and I was like, wow, man, she's really turned the corner. And then Andrade destroyed her. But then she had a close fight with Lemos, who I think is very good. Marcel. So this is a tricky fight, guys. It's a good fight. It's a great rematch, I think, because they're both in the same spot. We'll see. I mean, it's an important fight for both girls. How much do you guys think they paid Dern? Probably quite a bit, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a big star for them. She sells out, I shouldn't say she can headline these cards. I shouldn't say sells out arenas. She's not selling out arenas, but she could be on the main card, obviously very marketable, Marcel. That's our word here, right, Marcel? Marketable.
Marketable.
Well, so is Ribas, though. I know you like Amanda a lot, so. Yeah, you like Ribas, fair enough. All right, did you guys ever think US Girls had champions and potential?
Yeah, back then I did.
Dern?
Yeah, Ribas as well, until she got completely destroyed by Marina Rodriguez, and
Marina destroyed both of them. Marina's like that gatekeeper, isn't she?
Yeah.
Marina's getting older too, right?
Yeah,
so.
and with Dern, it was like, first I was like, yeah, and then you see a strike and you're like, yeah, probably not if she matches somebody who can stop the takedown. And Dern always has problems with getting her opponents down. So,
by the way, they both have wins over Verna Jandiroba, which look really good now.
Yeah.
It's funny, they both beat Verna, and then Verna beat Marina, who beat both of them. So it just shows you that MMA math doesn't always work, man, right?
True.
Both girls are features in Hollywood. Yeah. I get the little winky face to Antoine. So, yeah, guys, that's it for the preview. Just to recap it, breaking news, but Marcel did break a fight during the card.
Yeah, not really.
He slightly broke down. Nurullo Aliev versus Joe Selecki's now the new fight after Yanal Ashmouz pulled out. I mean, assuming that Aliev's still going to be a pretty big favorite in that fight. Maybe not as much, but he'll be favored. As far as picks go, mostly have the same picks here, but I took 3 underdogs, I think. I took Trey Ogden, Felipe Bunis, and Mackenzie Dern as dogs, and Marcel took Preston Parsons as a dog, I think. That was the one dog. That's it. I think, yeah. There's a few other fights that can go either way, I think. So, guys, good luck with your picks and bets on this one. After we broke it down, I think I'm a little bit more. I always get a little bit more excited after we do the card, to be honest with you, Marcel, after we break it down. But I'd still say it's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And, if it's better than that, my expectations are exceeded and I'm happy. And if it's worse, then shrug my shoulders. Should have one of my friends coming over to watch this fight too. So I probably be watching this one alone, which is nice. One of my buddies I used to train Muay Thai with. By the way, we got our boy Paul Torkington in the chat. Glad to have you here, Paul. Calls us lads. He's the Brit, Paul the Brits. Yeah, Paul. You know what? I'll tell you, man. It was nice to have a break, though. I'll tell you that, Marcel. I'm glad that we're back. But did you enjoy your break, dude?
Definitely, of course.
Yeah, it's sports. We love watching them guys, but as someone who does cover, I've been doing this since 2011. I enjoy these 2-week breaks when we get them at Christmas time. I'm glad the UFC does it, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't even have time to tweet in between fights last couple of times. So I mean, yeah,
you're busy as fuck, man. You got all these women knocking at your door, right? So
yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's it for the preview. Now, if you want, stick around. We're gonna do a quick fight announcements. Marcel, you broke like so many fights this week, so let's do a quick 10-minute fight announcements. That's good with you?
Let's go. All
right, guys. I'm going to end the stream. I'll tweet out the fight announcements in a minute here. But once again, we appreciate everyone joined us. Once again, to our sponsor, Bet105.eu. We appreciate them. MMAOddsbreaker.com. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it, guys. Hit that like button. Give us a follow on Twitter. Appreciate all you guys that join us. 2024 was a pretty good year for fights. I'm hoping 2025 is better, guys. We got some big fights on the horizon. Hopefully next week we got UFC 311, so we'll break that down, and we'll do that preview probably next Sunday, I should say. So appreciate you guys for the Saturday this week. It worked out better for me, so thank you to Marcel. Like I said, give me a minute here, guys. I'll tweet out the fight announcement link. We'll go through some fights, and that'll be it for the day. So appreciate it. And also, Antoine, we both said 7 out of 10. So that's what we think. We'll see what happens. All right, give me a minute, guys. I'll tweet out fight.